Welcome back, everyone. Next up, we have the OLB Group, Inc. Trades on NASDAQ under the symbol OLB and is a diversified fintech e-commerce merchant services provider and Bitcoin crypto mining enterprise. The company's e-commerce platform delivers cloud-based merchant services for a comprehensive digital commerce solution to over 10,500 merchants in all 50 states. Please welcome its president and CEO, Ronny Yakov, and VP of Finance, Patrick Smith. Welcome back, gentlemen. How are you today?
Good. How are you doing?
Thank you, Ronny, for having us. Well, we are a fintech company that specializes in payments and digital assets. We achieved the revenue that grew up from last year over 81%. And now let me introduce Patrick, our VP of Finance, to present the numbers.
Thank you, Ronny. Let me get some here. Basically, for 2022, let me just try and pull up the numbers here. For 2022, we increased our total revenue sorry, I'm having some trouble with my screen here. Total revenue increased to, hold on, I apologize.
From 16.7 million to 30.
Increased to 30.4 million that was compared to 16.7 for the previous year, which is an 82% increase. Our total operating expense also increased to $11 million, 11.6 million compared to 7.3. We had a net loss of 8.2 million compared to 5.5. But the majority of the net loss was related to our depreciation and amortization increase from 2021 to 2022 due to the mining machines that we purchased and also due to the amortization of the portfolio that we purchased. If you look at it from an adjusted EBITDA standpoint, in 2021 we had a negative 2.5 million negative EBITDA. This year we had a negative 100,000. So we're moving in the right direction. We also had a net income or earnings per share loss of 56 cents compared to 70 cents for the previous year. Ronny?
Thank you, Patrick. Yes, and this year we are progressing with few steps. One of them is really moving the Bitcoin mining operation as a separate entity, as a standalone that we're going to spin off. This entity would be eventually trade on NASDAQ. That we're doing pretty much the internal audits for the spin-off itself. As far as the operation on the payments, we anticipate to have an acquisition this year. Most likely it's going to be a debt financing acquisition just because of the share price today. So we definitely don't want to be diluted in this case. The Bitcoin operation, we anticipate the 1,000 machines to be running in a few weeks. And the 1,000 machines, we have a 20 megawatt capacity so that overall can be increased up to 5,000 machines. We anticipate to execute on those things this year as well. Patrick, you want to add to any of those things? The bodega business basically is one of the sectors that we are focusing this year. We are talking about integrating relationships with over 30,000 bodegas in the US itself. The way we anticipate the revenues is primarily coming from the merchant services and transactional operations in this case. So we have actually a few questions that have been submitted to us earlier. One of them is, why is your loss increasing as the revenues have not been increased? So Patrick, maybe you want to answer that.
Yeah, the main reason for the net income loss was, like I said earlier, it was due to the depreciation and amortization. It increased dramatically over from 2021 to 2022. That was the majority of the loss. Like I said, if you look at it from an adjusted EBITDA standpoint, we went from a loss of 2.5 million to a loss of $100,000. And our earnings per share loss was less than the previous year. So the net income loss is deceiving just due to the non-cash events that created.
Okay. Can you give us an update on the bodega business and what is the anticipation of having $8 to $10 million in those revenues?
What was the question, Ronny?
And what is the expectations of $8 to $10 million in revenues from the bodegas?
The expectation of $8 to $10 million in the bodegas is basically going to come from the processing, the electronic payment processing.
Yeah. Is the company still going to do acquisitions? The answer is yes. We answered earlier. We plan to do at least one acquisition this year. We have today over 20, since the price is $28,000 in Bitcoin mining, the idea is that we're going to be in a good pace. Our profitability on the Bitcoin is anything that is above $8,000. We are making a profit in this. So let me see what is the other questions. So can you give us an update on the each one of the business segments? Merchant services, DMint, bit licensing, crowdfunding, etc. So on the merchant services, we are constantly growing. We have relationships that we're establishing now with additional banks to be able to board a variety of merchants from high risk to low risk. On the DMint, like I mentioned, we are about to complete the operation in Selmer, Tennessee, and we dissolved the operations in Pennsylvania, Bradford, Pennsylvania. The bit license is in progress. That's a long process. The process itself would take most likely additional year to year and a half. With the crowdfunding, we didn't do much yet, but we have few offers that are on the table that we plan to execute on them pretty early this year. So in this case, if anyone has additional questions, we're happy to answer.
All right. Yes, we do have some questions. We have a little bit of time. We have a question. You list the cost at $8K at the new facility regarding mining. So is that just electricity or all-in cost? Can you explain that?
Well, you want to explain that, Patrick?
Yeah, that's basically our electrical cost. We own the building. We actually pay cash for the building, so it's not anything related to that. The $8,000 is just pure electricity cost.
Okay. And a question regarding the purchase dispute. Has there been any progress on the purchase dispute and canceling of the $2 million liability and reduction in purchase price?
Well, that's something that we are under ongoing litigation, so you have to follow what we publish on the news.
Okay. And regarding some cash flow of the company, had expected to be cash flow positive by end of 2022, correct? And now it's shifted to the end of 2023. So what's changed, and do you expect to require additional capital?
The main thing that changed was, one, the Bitcoin, we didn't get it up and running as fast enough in 2022 that we wanted. Plus, some of the expenses related to building out the building were more expensive than we expected. So we've kind of pushed that back. And then the delay in the Bitcoin processing into the Selmer building has been longer than we expected.
You mentioned a little bit about the DMint, but we have some more questions about the status of the DMint, mechanics, timing, and will it be a new listing on the NASDAQ?
Yes, it would be a new listing. We're working on completing the audit, like I mentioned earlier, and we anticipate to finish the audit within the next 6 to 8 weeks. Once the audit is completed, we're going to do filings on that. We're going to announce a dividend to all the shareholders, and it would be a record date for that.
Can you talk about what type of valuation you expect DMint to be valued at?
We gave the valuation to handle by a third-party company. So as soon as we get pretty much the audit results and everything, we'll publish the valuation as well.
Great. And last question, just one more time, if you can share your revenue outlook for each of your segments this year.
Sure.
Yeah, the majority of the revenue is going to still come from the processing piece. We're thinking right now we're projected to go from about 30 million in that to around 35. We expect to have the 1,000 machines up and running with for the Bitcoin very, very soon. The transformers are in. We're actually just finishing up the building. So that'll add about another anywhere from $3 to $5 million. So that's the two main areas that we're actually making money. The other ones, the the bid license. I don't think we'll see any revenue from that this year, or the crowdfunding. We're really not projecting a whole lot for this year. So it's still those main two segments.
Okay, wonderful. Well, if you have any closing remarks, otherwise, we really appreciate your update today, gentlemen.
No, thank you, Anna. As I said, we're trading on a very low valuations, and it's a good buy because anyone that holds shares at OLB would be also a shareholder at the spin-off teammates. Thank you.
Exactly. Okay, Patrick and Ronnie, thank you guys. We'll see you again soon.
Thanks. Have a great day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, everyone, we'll be right back.